I'm hoping some of those cheese whiz head people are on because I'm trying to get my live hours. And I was telling a funny story to a friend and it made me think I'll tell this story online because I wish, again, my husband was home. He'll be home soon and we'll do a live soon, I promise. We keep talking about it and then we just want to hang out at night and catch up with each other's day. So it's hard to do it all. I understand everybody talking and complaining about how it can be overwhelming because you want to get all this content up, but then it's also just life. So I want to tell how I knew that I wanted to marry my husband and how I was with another guy before my husband for years. I'll just say that, many years. Off and on, was my high school sweetheart, and I was with him. And if anybody knows me personally that watches this, can definitely testify to that. So I was with him, and it's really interesting because I always thought I would marry him after being with him for so many years. And he had a very wealthy family, not just rich, but wealthy family. So I got kind of engrafted into that, and I did not, and I got kind of engrafted into that lifestyle a little bit and got swooned by the lifestyle for sure, as one can do, and definitely got to see what it was like to live in a $1.8 million home, got to ride in limousines and convertible Mercedes and go to the city and go to all the big Georgia Tech games or whatever it was at the time. It was just really all, and I was in love with him in high school as far as love goes, I guess. As far as being in love when you're young, that's what that was. So all that to say, I was with on and off with him for years, and then we would break up. We had a really toxic relationship, if that's the word. I don't know, very unhealthy in a lot of ways relationship, and so towards the end I knew that I did not want to be with him long term, and he knew that he did not want to be with me, but we would fantasize about it like high schoolers were. But we got into college, and I went to hair school and cosmetology school, and he went on to do his own thing, and we kind of started to disconnect finally in life, which we needed to do, because it wasn't healthy. It wasn't a good relationship. It wasn't something that anybody needed to be a part of in high school. I would never want that for my girls now, because it's not something at 16 that you even need to mentally be dealing with, in my opinion. So you don't have the life experience or mentality yet to deal with such huge relationship drama, that comes in a relationship. So all this to say, we break up. I'm dating other people at this time. I have 4 older brothers. So I come from a family of only 4 older brothers, and I'm the only girl, all from my mom and dad. So I have 5 kids. My mom and dad had 5 kids. So this is just totally completely comfortable for me to have 5 kids. Not that that's a lot of children. I mean, today at Ross, they're like, oh my gosh, you have 4 kids. Yesterday, wherever I was, you have 4 kids, because my oldest works and he's not with us anymore all the time. So we're out shopping today, and I'm hearing this going around town, and I'm just like, it's not even the full amount of kids that I have, and I'm getting this. That's shocking to me that 4 kids is a lot of kids now in America, that people are commenting on that. That feels like a really small number of kids. So all this to say is, my brothers, 4 older brothers, I start dating. We break up. I'm dating all these people finally after many years of being 9th grade. I got into a relationship with this guy that, like I said, his dad was multi-millionaire. Got into the relationship with him, got really connected with the lifestyle, got really ingrained in the lifestyle, just loving it up, all of it. So then we break up. We're trying to see other people. We're dating other people. I meet my husband at a party from some of my brothers. That's where I got off on that rabbit trail's friends. So at this point, I've known a lot of guys because I have 4 older brothers. So I'm starting to know that I know a lot of guys. It's not hard to start dating when you've been in this serious relationship for so many years and trying to make it work, that you are like, oh my gosh, I'm single, and I know a lot of guys. So I started just going on this dinner date and that dinner date, having a lot of fun. This is at 17 years old, 18, 17, off and on. And then we would get back together, because then we would try to date other people, and we missed the toxic pool that we brought, the drug. We were addicted to all of it. So we get back together off and on. At 18, I'm backing off and on, and we're getting more serious about not being together. We're going to date other people. We're going to do this for each other. So that's when I meet my husband. I am 19. I am done with high school, and we're skateboarding at the same party. So I have 4 older brothers. We had a 8-foot half pipe in the backyard. One of my brothers owns a skate surf company in Hawaii still to this day. So another brother just closed the skate company. So skating is a big part of our family. I have a cousin that owned a really big skateboarding wheel company. So skateboarding is just a big part of my existence, my whole life. So if I want to hang out with my brothers, I would try to skate. So this party I go to, we're both skating at the same party, and we see each other, but we're both like not really talking to each other. I'm kind of there with another one of my brother's friends, kind of, but not really. Just seeing if I like him. I don't want to be serious with anybody because it still feels weird for me to be in a relationship because I still feel like I'm kind of cheating. It's weird. So then my husband and I hang out. Well, my friend likes my husband, so then we're kind of getting to know him like that night by chance. Like she thought he was cute, and that happened a lot with my friends. So we're kind of like hanging out with him, whatever, getting to know him. They go to Waffle House. Well, I go to his apartment. It's really cool, and he lives right next to the party. It's these big, huge factory lofts. So we go to the party, and then we leave and go to his cool place, and it's another party, and he's got people over, and he's a super quiet guy, but he's got like friends and stuff. He's a super chill person. So we go in there, hang out. My friend wants to kind of get to know him, so they're trying to go to Waffle House, and he doesn't want to go. Well, I see he has a book on Australia. This is the first time I ever talked to him. We had been skating all night in the alley of this big factory like lofts. I'm sure a lot of people know what factory lofts, like the old cotton mills that have been turned into really cool urban lofts. So we're at this party, we got and he has a book on Australia. He decides he doesn't want to go to Waffle House, and I don't want to go to Waffle House. It's like 2 a.m., you're like 19. You don't care about what time it is. And I just like, I'm going to stay here. He said we could sleep at his house. We just met him, but he's like, you guys can all stay here, whoever, or over there. So you can go through the window. So we're just going to stay there. So I stay, he stays back. They all go to Waffle House, and I see a book on Australia, and I say, I'm going to move there. When I'm done with hair school, I'm moving to Australia. I'm like super sure about this in my life at this point because I just wanted to get the heck out of here so that I could get away from the toxic relationship. I just thought I've always been a runner. I just identified really that in the last couple of years through healing. I'm going in deep with my own self, finding out that I'm just such a runner. So I was going to run away to Australia. I was figuring it out. I was going to hair school, getting my cosmetology license, moving to Australia. Well, he had that book because that was what he was going to do. So what did we talk about until the sun came up? Everything. Literally everything. We went from, oh my gosh, that's so cool on the couch to just, and usually that'll happen, they say. When you meet the person you're going to usually marry or spend the rest of your life with, a lot of the time you'll start talking and you can never stop. And even now we're like that. So then we have this great relationship. Well, okay. So then I like skipped over. So then we start going over there. We like each other. It's apparent. He gets my number. We talked all night. He had seen me prior to this. So the thing was, he told me later that he had seen me and heard about me because I skated at a skate park in town, and I was one of the only girls that skated there at this indoor skate park we had. So it was really cool, wooden ramps. So he had seen me, and he was like, oh, he liked me when he saw me skating. He's like, oh, I like that girl. She skates, because he was a huge skater. So, and he was here from Michigan. He had only moved here at 19, and he just was born here. A little bit about him. He moved from Georgia to Michigan when he was 2. So he spent his whole life in Michigan and then moved back here when he was 19 just because he wanted to know where he was born. So he came back by himself after high school. So that's what he's doing here with his friend in this loft, and they're both from Michigan. So he sees me at the skate park because he would skate there, and it's right next to his loft, not far, and right next to my house, same town. And he was like, oh, I like that girl. And he had these feelings of like, that's the kind of girl, he told me later, I want to marry. But then he never thought if he would see me again, and he left. He was very shy, kind of guy, just kind of quiet. And he just left the skate park that day, never talked to me, never saw me for like a month or two went by, never saw me. But at the party, right when he saw me skating in the alleyway, he knew it was me and remembered, oh my gosh, that's her. So little did I know that he didn't maybe want to go to Waffle House when they were all going, because he saw I wasn't going. And maybe if I was going, he would have been going. That's what he says. So he had this like little bit of knowing that he was like interested. So then I start dating him. We started spending a lot of time together for like a month. We're just so crazy about each other. It's awesome. Well, I still have the other guy. He doesn't just go away. Even though we're supposed to be seeing other people, we have a lot of history. So he doesn't just, oh, you're in love with somebody now? No, that doesn't usually just go so well. Living in the same town. So he's trying to get me back, whatever, you know, and I'm feeling like this guy will die without me. And it was literally how I felt, because he did have an issue of addiction, and I was able to, that was a lot of the toxicity. We both were very dependent on substances. So I was just like, I'm the only one that can get him back. Like, he's literally had died already a couple times in parking lots, and I'm like, I'm the only one. And I didn't do the hard drugs that he did, and I had gotten away from all that, but he wanted to stay in it off and on, and it was really hard for me because I didn't want him to do it anymore. Like, okay, let's grow up, let's move on. So this is the other guy, not my husband. So then I leave my husband after a month. I won't get into all that, but I leave my husband after a month and of dating him and being in love with him, and like we were going to see other people, but I go back to the other guy because I'm feeling like he won't live without me. I have to be with him. Well, girls that have addictive fathers, 9 times out of 10 either become addicted to some substance extremely, or they marry one or are with one. It's just statistics. It's just what we know. It's how we know love. It's how we have seen love. So I had a very addictive father that died from alcohol in his bed. His esophagus busted from alcohol exploding. So in his body. So he definitely had the most severe alcoholism I've ever witnessed being alive, but my dad. So anyway, that being a part of my life, I have to go save this guy because that's what I'm drawn to. I also have my own substance abuse going on, but I also had my stuff together. Like, I was functioning. So I need to go be with him. He's in college at this point. He's kind of got his life together. Like I said, you have to remember, even though he's like a druggie, he's very, very got a huge amount of funding under him at all times. So anything that he wanted or needed could be given him. So he's in a really prestige college. So I'm going up there and staying with him, but I want to be with my husband. It's really hard for me because at this point, he knows that I'm in love with somebody else. All of town talked about how we skated together, and me and this one, my ex, didn't skate together, and they're just the cutest thing, and they dress the same, and oh my gosh. Well, he was super jealous, so then he's trying super hard to put all these like hats on to make me like love him again. So I'm doing the loving him again thing, and I'm staying with him like a month, but I'm sneaking and going seeing my husband. I'm not cheating because I've broken up with my husband and I'm being with this guy again, but I am going to just hang out with him. But I'm being open with the guy that I'm with, my ex, that I still want to be friends with my husband. And he's like, I don't love that, but whatever it takes to have you, I will do. This is when it all ends, and I'm going to wrap it up here. We are driving in the car. I had a little lowrider Acura Integra 99, like super old now Integra. So it was our little ride, and then he had a big Expedition, the first boyfriend, on 24s or something, Spinner, something crazy. So very, very luxe car that we would ride around in whenever, and he had a bunch of other cars we could drive around in. So we're in the car. We had been driving all those, but then I had to drive, and this guy had no money though. Even though he comes from money, the first, he had no money at this point because he was getting back into drugs. So drugs cost a lot of money. So you might have a lot of money, but you run through a lot of money. So I don't know if you can say that word on YouTube. I hope so. drugs. So I don't want to get a flag. So then we're going to Chick-fil-A. We're going to do his mom's hair. Long story short, I'm in hair school. I'm going to go do his mother's hair. I have spent every dime on this is the ex, not my husband. My husband babied me to no avail, took the best care of me, always put me first, always took me to nice dinners in the months we were dating. I always missed it. He just always put me ahead of him. It's just the way it was. And it's still like that today. And it's like he would always, but the ex is very narcissistic in his way of being at the time. And I don't want to use that word on him because he's not here anymore. And I don't want to say that about somebody that's not on earth anymore. Are you okay? So he may have have those qualities, but also when you're brought up very privileged, you can just adopt a way of being, and it's just the way it is. I've just done a lot of research in psychology of somebody that can order everything on the menu at any time. It's just a different upbringing than most people in our country. The minority is definitely the ones that can go and get every appetizer. And even if the Cokes are $2.50, they can get every refill they want. We don't always have that luxury when we're out to eat with our parents, but some people do. And if you do, cool. That's be our experience on life. That while you're here, that's cool. He had that, I didn't. So I was always looking at him like, wow, he can literally buy anything. He can buy anything he wants in Abercrombie. That is so crazy, you know. So you get really, money can do that to you if you don't have it in its place. So I have a poetry reading about keeping money in its place and knowing that it's just an energy so that it does not grab hold of you like that. Because it will make you make really stupid life decisions all over this stuff that literally means nothing. It's an energy. It's literally an energy just like, I don't know, like water flowing through your life, fluidity. It's just something here today, gone tomorrow. Use it. The more you use it, the more it comes, the more you have good thoughts about it. We can talk about that later because I'm getting off on a rabbit trail. I'm really bad about that. And the kids will need me in a second. So we're going to Chick-fil-A. I've spent all my money. Back to the story. I'm with the ex. I've been with him for like a month. I'm going to stay with him. I miss my husband, but I'm going to stay with him. We're driving through Chick-fil-A. I have spent every dime. I am working 2 jobs and in cosmetology school. So I have no funding in my life like that. My mom's leaving my dad, very broken family, very bankrupt family, not coming from any like that. So I have literally a couple dollars left. And I put it in the gas tank, go do the hair with him for his mom. And he's like, oh, pull over here, I'm hungry. And he does have a $20 bill on him, which I was shocked because he kept acting like he was broke the days before. And I was like, oh, he has a little bit of money. When you're 19, every little 20 matters, you know. So then he says, pull to Chick-fil-A and get food. So he goes, this is when I knew. This is the second it happened. And this is when I knew that I could never be another second with this guy. We go through the drive-through. No, we go through, and I go to get in the drive-through, and he's like, just park, and I'll go in and get the food and come out. So I'm like, okay. He gets his wallet. He has $20. And he almost looks at me like he has money. I said, I have no money left. I have to work tonight and get tips to get to my hair school tomorrow because I have no money until tomorrow. So he's like, okay. So then he goes in and he comes out, and we're both had been talking about how hungry we were all the way there, just so hungry, so hungry. So we hadn't eaten yet. So then he comes out and he has a bag of food and a big soda. And I'm like, oh, he didn't ask what I wanted, but he'll just know what I wanted. Like, we've been together for years and we've eaten at Chick-fil-A a million times. He knows anything I like, you know, it's not hard. So he comes out and he has nothing. Starts eating in the car. And I'm like, what the heck? He's not giving me anything. I'm just waiting. And he's like, looks over at me and I'm like, did you get me any food? And he's like, oh, no, but I got Biggie size fries, so you can have some. And I was like, oh. That's when it happened, right then. It just like that. I was like, oh. My whole life, literally, I don't know how to explain it, flashed before my eyes the minute he said that. And it was like, this will be every scenario of your whole life. Is that something that you can accept? In this moment, I had to decide. It just came to me. Life will do that sometimes. Like, I don't know how to explain it. If you have that happen, I would love to hear about it. But it was like my whole life and what it would be like to just always be getting scraps, like groveling for Biggie size fries. Maybe I'll get 6 of those. And I could be happy. And a lot of people are happy with that and they're content with that. And that's awesome. And I love it. But, and it was just a way of realizing for me that's not what I want. I had experienced something different, thankfully, in a month and a half, that I knew whenever we drove out of there. I said, okay, that's fine. And he could tell that I was off because it just was all happening in my frontal as I'm looking at him. And he could tell that, oh my gosh, what's happening to her? And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do your mom's hair and then I want to drop you off it. I don't want to be with you. And he's like, what did I do? What did I do? And I'm like, no, it's nothing you did. It's nothing you did. It's just, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be together ever again. I want to be with that guy I was with. I don't want to be with you. And he's like, go back, turn around. He starts freaking out, like screaming in the car the way we would get. Turn around, I'll buy you whatever you want. I'll buy you whatever you want on the menu. I'll give you whatever you want. And I'm like, no, it's not about whatever Chick-fil-A has on the menu. It's not about that at all. It's about my whole life, my whole existence. And so we went and we did the hair and he cried and we let each other go and it was good and it was healing. And from that day on, we could see each other and he ended up moving right next to me and my husband, that guy, and living next to us our first year of marriage in the lofts that I'm telling you about, this factory. So it was really close knit with hallways and stuff, almost like a dorm. And his mom ended up living there because his parents were divorced. And he ended up living with her. And when Flip, my oldest, was a baby, he lived right next to us. So he would see me at the pool with Flip during the day, and my husband would have to go to work. But it was like once I made that decision that day, there was never, ever a question about it ever again. We left there. He knew, I knew, my husband knew. Thankfully, he took me back because he did love me like that and he did want me to come back. It's just he knew I needed that closure, and sometimes people do. But that's how I knew. It was in a moment. And you can, I knew when we pulled out of Chick-fil-A that day that I said that guy, my husband, I was like, that guy would starve before I went hungry. Like he would. That's just who he is. And that's who you would want to have your partner in life be. And you can get these moments where you know that. And that's just like one aspect of knowing if your partner is right for you or not. If you're dating, would they give you the biggie size because they matter more? Or and I hope that the person you're with, you would not just get them the biggie size when you're the one that has the $20 bill at the Chick-fil-A. $20 can get you 2 meals at Chick-fil-A if you're creative. It at least can get you a sandwich. Or a cup of soup. Something that shows that you care, you know. So, all that to say, I hope that helped. If you are trying to figure out if the person you're dating is the one for you or not, it's really hard. And I feel for you because we all have to go through that. And there's little things that will let you know. To finish that story, I don't want to give a lot of information, but the ex did end up passing away. I want to say, I know it was before 30, in his mid-20s. So my dad died at 63, not long enough. Left behind 13 grandchildren or so. I can't remember the exact number. I think that's right. I'd have to check with my mom, but yeah. So it's definitely something I want to bring awareness to if you struggle with that as well and you deal with people that struggle with addiction. I'm thinking about you, and I didn't want to make you sad. There was a song me and my son were listening to in the car. It said, I didn't want to call you up to bring you down. So I didn't want to call you up on here to bring you down today, but I do want to bring any kind of guidance as being an older person now that has gone through a lot of different scenarios in relationships that might be able to help you in figuring out what's right for you. Have a good day. Thanks for watching the live and helping me get my live hours. Talk later. Bye.